All right, good morning, morning, afternoon. It's been such a crazy morning already. I still think it's morning. Good afternoon, Hannah Nation, Hannah Motivation. Here we go. How are we doing, Melissa?
We are fabulous. And I think your head is probably spinning with this crazy market that we're starting to go into. But first, happy Father's Day to you and to all of our fathers, grandfathers, uncles, brothers, father figures out there. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend and were able to fit in a little bit of relaxation and fun into their weekend, in addition to some real estate.
Absolutely. It was balancing it. I was on the boat, on the phone, right? Handling multiple offers and trying to tell the kids to stop being so loud while they're swimming. Oh, it's been a crazy. Melissa and I were just talking about how crazy the market is. It's continuing to be very much a seller's market here in upstate New York. And I appreciate all of you taking the time out of your day. I know you're super busy, and we appreciate you taking some time to tune in to Motivational Mondays, and we're going to bring you some motivation today.
And as Christian is bringing you some of that motivation, I will be available in the chat for any questions that you have. So feel free to type anything in there if you want to chat, if you have any questions, if you have any input, I'll be monitoring that. Or if you just want to say hi to all of us. So feel free to do that as well.
And don't forget, I did send out a follow-along worksheet. I know that, so I make these because I need these, right? If I don't have this to write things down, I'm going to forget, right? So I put this together to follow along with what I'm going to go through today. So just fill in as I'm going through. And also, this kind of helps keep me on track too, right? I always have it set to the side, so I make sure I stay to my points so I don't go too off on a tangent. But so this is, I don't know, week 11 or 12. I think it's gotten to the point where like Melissa and I can't even do a review of all the content we've done over the last 3 months now. But I wanted to really bring it back to something I talk about a lot with my agents. And, I think if someone were to say this phrase, what's the key to success? I think there's a lot of keys to success. There's not just a key, right? There's I can't tell you how many people have said, Christian, the key to success is, and they fill in the blank. And there's a lot of good answers that can be put in there. And one of the reasons I have a lot of index cards. So here's all the index cards I read every single morning. There's probably about 20 of them in there. And there's different philosophies, different principles, different business strategies written on those index cards I read every morning. But one of the most important ones I read is a phrase that says this. It's the first thing. It says, success is a few simple disciplines practiced every day. And that is from the man, Jim Rohn. So let me say that again. It's the first thing on your sheet. It's a few simple disciplines practiced every day. And I think about that philosophy, that key line there. And that's true whether you're looking to be successful as a father. We're looking at Father's Day, right? As a mother, as a spouse, whether you're looking to be successful in your faith or whether you're looking to be successful as a realtor or as a person. No matter what it is in life that you're looking to be better at, that line is true. If you want to be a successful father, it's nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. I can't just show my sons that I love them once a week. That really wouldn't work, right? Every morning, every day, you need to pour into your kids. And let's transition that to real estate. We can't just go and do a lot of real estate once or twice a week, or we can't do it 1 week out of the month. When it comes to real estate, if we want to be successful, it's a few simple disciplines practiced every day. And that seems like super, super simple, right? It seems super simple. And I also want to preface this with one thing. We have to have the right disciplines. But I think in the last 12 weeks, Melissa and I have been sharing a lot of different content. And I know all of your managers are sharing content with you. I think we all kind of know what we have to do, right? If you want to lose weight, there's 2 things you do, right? You eat better and probably less, and you exercise. I don't say that and nobody goes, oh my goodness, I didn't know that, right? Yeah, I've got my water, you've got your shake there, right? So if we all think about real estate, if we want to do more real estate, chances are we all know what we need to do. And just in case you don't, go ask your manager, or maybe go watch the last 12 weeks of Motivational Mondays that Melissa and I have done. So I do want to kind of preface what we're talking about with that. You got to make sure you got the right disciplines, right? If your discipline to losing weight is going and eating fried food every day, that's probably not the right discipline, okay? All right, so I want to talk about 3 different things today, right? It's discipline, consistency, and self-mastery. These are the 3 things that really fall into that phrase. The phrase was a few simple disciplines practiced every day. And I want to break it into disciplines, consistency, and self-mastery. So let's first jump into the word discipline. What does discipline mean? And if you think about the word discipline, it has a lot of different meanings. If you go on Google and you search in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, there's a lot of different meanings of the word discipline. You know, you discipline your child, you discipline a discipline. It can be good, it can be viewed as bad. So here's 2 different definitions of the word discipline I want to give you. The first one is this, and there's a fill in the blank for you on your worksheet. It says, training oneself to do something in a controlled and habitual way. Controlled. Train oneself to do something in a controlled and habitual way. Number 2 definition is a controlled behavior. Are you seeing a theme here, right? The word control. Now, let's think about this. If you hear the phrase, man, that person's out of control, is that ever viewed as a good thing? No. Nobody wants to be out of control. And when you're referring to someone else as being out of control, that's not meant as a compliment. Versus if you say, man, that person's really got everything under control. Now, that is absolutely a positive thing. Well, that's what discipline is. Discipline is controlled behavior. It's controlling the things you do in a habitual way. So let's just jump into that. All right, Christian, well, how do you be disciplined? What's 3 ways to be self-disciplined, if you really want to throw the word self in there? So it's self-control or self-discipline. Going back to that first phrase, a few simple disciplines, you could say a few simple self-controlled things that you practice every day. So here's 3 ways to be disciplined. First one, fill this one in here, is you got to be future focused. You have to be future focused. Another word for that is your goals. And I know every time someone says you should write your goals down, you say, yeah, I've already heard that. Okay, but are you actually doing it? And you can't just write your goals once, like, a year ago, and then not revisit them. You got to write your goals. You got to read them. I read mine every single day because it keeps me future focused. If I'm reading my goals every day and I know what I want to accomplish, now I have an easier time of being self-controlled because I'm thinking about the future. Oh, yes, I want to accomplish this goal of blank. Whether it's meeting a financial goal or losing weight or going on a trip or whatever that goal is. Or maybe the goal is I have one goal down. I need to do 5 hiking trips with my kids every summer. 5 hiking trips. And I do 7 summits by 7 a.m. every year. Now this year I got it done early because the quarantine happened. So I was like, what else am I going to do? I got nothing else to do. So I went to my hiking, right? But be future focused. Be future focused. Have those goals. Read them every day. Now, another thing I want to throw in there to be future focused is a vision board. Now, I am not the arts and craft, Pinterest kind of guy, right? Like, that's just not me. So I actually outsourced my vision board, right? Here's what I did. I went on Google, I found a bunch of images of things that represented my goals, right? A picture of this, a picture of that, a logo of this. And then I emailed it to my assistant. I said, here, put all of this in. Like every time Melissa does her Motivational Mondays, she's got the worksheet with all the cool bubbles. And I'm like, man, I am so jealous of you, Melissa. You're so good at that. Meanwhile, I've got Times New Roman. I make it really sexy with Times New Roman, right? So it is not my personal gift to be very good at doing vision boards. And maybe it's not yours either. You have my permission. Delegate that to your significant other or your kids or whoever, but get a vision board. I've got a vision board right behind me here, and I get that and I make 10 copies of it and I put it all over the place so I see it throughout the day. But that vision board keeps me future focused. Having future focus keeps you disciplined. Remember, we're talking about discipline. We're talking about self-control. Gotta be future focused. Number two, the way to be disciplined is to pre-decide. Now, let me tell you what pre-decide is. And pre-decide can be pre-deciding to not do the wrong thing, and it can be pre-deciding to do the right thing. So let me give you a very, very real example that just happened yesterday, right? So yesterday's Father's Day. So we go on a hike with my dad and my boys, and we go up, and then we come back to the house. We're going to go out on the lake for the afternoon out on the boat. So we ordered some pizzas. And pizza is like my Achilles heel, man. I could pound a good 4 slices of pizza, no problem. And I love the buffalo chicken wing pizza. If you like buffalo chicken wing pizza, man, oh, it is tough. But I can easily eat like 1 or 5 slices like that, right? So I pre-decided, I said to myself, Christian, you were going to have 2 slices. 2 slices, that's it. So I ate my 2 slices, and then I wanted the third, don't get me wrong. But I had already pre-decided. Because part of me said I probably should have 0 slices. But, you know, it's Father's Day. I got to let myself go a little bit. And I already went for a hike. I burnt some calories, right? But I made a pre-decision that I was only going to do 2 slices. In the same way, maybe you need to pre-decide. I am going to make those 5 phone calls today. I am going to write those handwritten notes today. I am going to call these people and get the price reduction. I'm going to call through my expired listings from a year ago to see if they want to relist, because right now there's no inventory. Jesus, that sound like a good idea? Maybe go look at the stuff you didn't sell in 2018 and 2019. Call them up and say, hey, market's pretty crazy. In fact, you might actually be able to get that crazy price you wanted 2 years ago now, right? And maybe you get some listing. Pre-decide that you're going to do that work. That helps you be disciplined when you make that decision ahead of time. Number 3. So number 1, we had future focused. Got to be future focused to be disciplined. Number 2 is pre-decide. Number 3 is accountability. Accountability is huge. You have to be accountable. Now, maybe that accountability person, you got to share your goal with them too. So maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your significant other, okay? Maybe it's a business partner, maybe someone else in your office. Hey, I'm going to call 5 people and get price reductions today, or I'm going to call 5 people to try to get listings. How about you do the same too? Hey, we're both going to go to the office and we're going to work on this, okay? Have an accountability partner. Now, once again, I want to stress this with discipline before we move on. Discipline is a 2-pronged fork, right? Discipline helps you not do the bad things that you shouldn't do, and it helps you do the good things that you should do. So when you have discipline, when you are self-controlled, you win it on both fronts. You don't eat that extra slice of pizza, and you go for the run in the morning, right? You do the actions you should be doing in your real estate career, and you don't do the ones that you know you shouldn't be doing. Okay, so that was discipline. A few simple disciplines practiced every day. But let's jump on to the second part of this, which is consistency. So the second part of that phrase was practiced every day. Notice the phrase doesn't say a few simple disciplines practiced every once in a great while. A few simple disciplines practiced whenever you want to. A few simple disciplines, once a month or once a year. No, it's a few simple disciplines practiced every day. That is consistency. Consistency. The definition of consistency is this. It's conformity in the application of something. Conformity in the application of something. There's 3 ways to be consistent. Let me give them to you, because consistency is key. I think consistency, I almost want to say it's more important than discipline, but the problem with that is if you're consistently not disciplined, I guess that's not a good thing either. So you really need both. You can't have one without the other. You can't be disciplined and not be consistent and think you're going to be successful, okay? So let's talk about consistency. So what are 3 ways that you can be consistent? Now look, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I just have to speak from my heart in the one area that has helped me be the most consistent in life, and that is this book, The Miracle Morning. I think it was week 1 of Motivational Mondays that I shared this book with everyone. And just so you know how much I like this book, that is an autographed copy, because I at one time bought 200 copies of this and I gave it to everybody I know. But if someone were to say, Christian, name 5 books that changed your life, this would be in one of them. And it's literally like 130 pages and a 3rd grader could read it. I mean, it's a really easy book. It's not a hard read, but it changed my life because when I have a miracle morning, I wake up and I have a consistent routine that sets me up for the day. So number 1 in the 3 ways to be consistent is this: wake up. Now, I know you're going to wake up at some time, so let me be more specific. Excuse me. Wake up with a plan to be consistent. Wake up at a time that allows you to be consistent. So here's what happens. Most people wake up at the last possible minute. So they do the math. And here's the math. Well, I got to be at the office at 8 o'clock. I got to have my kids out by 8 o'clock. And I need a half an hour to get ready and 15 minutes for food so I can sleep into 7:15. So I'm going to set the alarm for 7. And then I'm going to hit the snooze button at least once or twice. And then I can still make it to work on time. Is that not true? That's what most people do. Okay? Here's what this book teaches you. This book says, no. You can't do that. You got to build some margin there. It's not let me wake up at the last possible minute. It is let me build some time in the morning so I can be consistent in my morning. So I can be consistent. So Father's Day. So it's very rare that I don't get up at the same time every day. There's 2 different times I get up every single day. I get up at 3:23 and I get up at 3:53. And anyone who emails me regularly knows that that is not a lie. Melissa will shake her head. She'll say she sees my email stamp times. But Sunday was Father's Day, right? And so for Father's Day, I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to sleep in. So I slept until 5:30. And you want to know what? It actually kind of ruined my day. I was like, man, I wish I'd gotten up earlier. I never regretted getting up early. Wake up, have that routine, and be consistent about it. You will never regret it. I almost feel like consistency, I should only have 1 point, and that should be it. And I know what people say, well, I'm not a morning person. Not true. You just got to go to bed. One of the most successful guys I know, he's been a mentor of mine. He owns a large RV business, has hundreds and hundreds of employees. Here's what he said. He goes, Christian, waking up early is easy. Going to bed early is hard. And I just really want to impress upon you that is one of the most simplest things you can do. Now, maybe you don't need to be a complete fanatic, crazy man like me and wake up at 3:23. I get that. But maybe instead of waking up at 6:30, it's 5:45. Could you wake up 45 minutes earlier, and would that potentially change your life? Yes. So maybe you need to go to bed 45 minutes early and skip that one episode of whatever it is that you're watching. I don't know. You froze for a second, Melissa. Am I freezing on you, or am I good?
You're good.
Okay. You froze for like 30 seconds. I was like, uh-oh, I hope I didn't lose. All right. Number 2 on being consistent. Number 2, schedule everything. Schedule everything. I'm telling you, I live by my schedule. Any one of my agents comes, looks at my computer, it is filled and filled and filled. When you need to follow up with a client, you put it in your schedule. And then when you call them and they say, we're not ready yet, give us a call in a couple of days, you click and you drag it. I've shared this story with many people. About 4 or 5 years ago, I made a commitment to my wife. I was going to take her on a date night on the 2nd Friday of every month. And I put it in my calendar and I put it on repeat. So it's automatically in there. So I get a little reminder the Monday before that Friday to set up a date night. So go to my personal Facebook page. You will see this. A week and a half ago, I took her on a hike to a waterfall. And all that happened was the Monday before that Friday, I saw it in my calendar. It was scheduled. And I said, I got to be consistent in making this date night with my wife. So I went and I planned the date night, took her on this date night, and it was special to her. But that's it. We just got to schedule it. If that wasn't in my schedule, it wouldn't happen. Now, it doesn't mean that I do or don't love my wife if it's in my schedule, but it's showing her that I care about her by putting it in the schedule. Sometimes we put our clients in our schedule. And right now, I can guarantee there's a lot of you watching this who go, Christian, I am so busy. The balance in my life is gone, and I don't have time for my kids. Well, that's no way to live. That's no way to live. So put some things in your schedule that are for your kids. And then when someone calls up and says, hey, can you be here at 6 o'clock tonight? Say, I'm sorry, I'm already booked. How about tomorrow night? Now tonight, I've got stuff right up to 8 o'clock tonight. So tonight, I'm not going to be out. So my son today is 90 degrees. He goes, Dad, what time are you coming home? Can we go on the boat? I said, not tonight. But tomorrow night, I will. Tomorrow night, I'll make sure after 5 o'clock is open because I'm working tonight. We got to schedule things in. And many, many times we leave our family out and we schedule everything else first. Schedule everything. Number 3, review and plan. Review and plan. If we want to be consistent, we have to review and we have to plan for the future. I guarantee you right now, I could ask a bunch of agents. So we're right at about the halfway point of the year, right? Today's June, what's today, 23rd? We're only 6 days away or 7 days away from the middle point of the year. How are you doing? Are you on track to make your numbers? And you know what most agents are going to say? They're going to be like, I have no clue, Christian, no clue how I'm doing. All right, well, if you have no clue how you're doing, then how do you know you're even doing the right disciplines and if you're being consistent enough? Are you doing enough things? You don't know. So right now is a perfect time of year. Look at your year to date versus last year. Are you ahead? Are you behind? Look at what your goal was. Are you on track? Now beware, for most people, the first part of the year is not equal to the second part. So do know that. Talk with your manager. I manage 5 different offices, and some of them are less lopsided than others, okay? Because some of our markets are in second home markets where the second half of the year tends to be much, much better because it gets the summer months closings with the big lake sales, okay? So maybe you should be doing 40% of your deals in the first 6 months and 60 in the second 6 months. Or maybe it's 30-70. Talk to your manager. I bet your manager knows what you should be about. If you want to do $6 million for the year, you need to be at a certain point right now. But when you review and you plan, when you track and you measure, you can now say, I got to step it up and I got to be more consistent in what I do. Okay, last one, self-mastery. So remember, this quote that we're talking about is a few simple disciplines practiced every day. So we talked about disciplines. We talked about, consistency. Let's talk about self-mastery. So let me give you the definition of self-mastery. Here we go. Ability to exert a strong will to steer our future to one of our choosing. To steer our future to one of our choosing. Not someone else's, my choosing. I'm in control. Let me give you the second definition of self-mastery, which I love. Having a vision for your future self in utilizing what? Self-control to obtain it. Go back a couple weeks. I did a seminar on Motivational Monday about the philosophy that you need, that you control your future, that you get to decide what happens in the future. And at the end of the day, I think this is the biggest determination of our motivation, is us recognizing that we are in control. Well, self-mastery is part of that. So the 4 steps of self-mastery are this. The first one is awareness. So you're watching this, guess what? You're now aware. You are aware of, oh my goodness, yes, I am in control and I do have choice, all right? The second one is that it's discernment and choice. What are you choosing to do? Now, awareness is, okay, I'm in control. Number 2 is then what choices are you making? All right? Are you making the right choices? So now you're aware, oh, I'm aware of making the wrong choices, better make some different choices. Or maybe you're not making any choice. Make the good choices. So first one's awareness. Second is discernment and choice. Third is action focus. Decision, action, focus. You need to take action. You can't just say, oh, I'm aware and here's what I need to do, but then sit back and do nothing. You gotta take action. You gotta put the rubber to the road. You gotta put the feet down. You gotta go do the work. It does not happen organically. It's not like the people that you see around in your office just were sitting around one day and poof, the realtor success genie popped out of the bottle and said, you are now a top producer. No, I have never seen a realtor just suddenly get lucky and just win everything. They all work at it. And if they did get lucky the first time, they had to work at it and be good and be consistent and be disciplined. And maybe they did use that little bit of luck and they built on that. I'll give it every once in a while, this business, a stroke of luck does come your way. But you got to work it then. You got to be consistent. You got to be disciplined. So then that one luck turns into a referral and a referral and a referral and a referral. Number 4 is this. It's realization or achievement. It's when you actually get to say, wow, now I'm getting to benefit the fruits of my labor. right? I now see all this stuff I have done is bringing results to me. Holy cow, this is awesome. Let me go do it again. Let me go do it again. Now, I want to be clear. There is so many different keys to success. I started off with saying that. This is just one that I get super pumped about because I think it's simple. I've heard this phrase a lot of times when someone says, hey, Christian, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? How do you walk 1,000 miles? One step at a time. I'm going to share my screen here for a second, and I want to show you a book that I have read. I think it's a great book. I don't have the copy with me right now. It's at a different office, but there's the book right there. One small step can change your life, the Kaizen Way. I mean, it's $11.20 on a hardcover. You can get the paperback for $9.28. This book is an easy read. So if you're going to read The Miracle Morning, great. Then go pick up the Kaizen Way. Because sometimes we get so overwhelmed with, oh my goodness, things are just, it's too much for me to do. One small step. One small step. 8 years ago, I was 40 pounds heavier than I was right now. And now I run about 1,000 miles a year. I didn't just one day say, I'm going to run 1,000 miles. No, I started with a walk around the block. And in fact, when I got halfway around the block, felt like I was sucking a lung and I was about to die, right? Most of your realtors out there, they didn't go from selling one house to selling 100 in a year overnight. They built their business and they used what now? They used discipline, they used consistency, and then they recognized self-mastery, that they were in control and they could start that system, they could start that process of self-mastery and then just get the benefits of it. So we talk a lot about the what all the time, but if I had to say one of the most important things, it's consistency and discipline. And I got to thank one of my agents for this topic this week. I was on the phone with this agent last week and I said, his name is Tim Tyler, had a great week, did a $1.2 million week about a week or two ago. And I said, Tim, great week, man. What happened? He goes, I was just consistent and disciplined for the week. That's all that happened. And I said, wow, it's a miracle, isn't it? And he kind of chuckled and he goes, yeah, now I just need to do that again and again and again. And I said, you got it, Tim. That is the key, consistent and discipline. So 4 minutes left. I know Melissa and I are trying really hard to keep these to half an hour. We know that you guys are all super busy. I see there are a couple things in the chat. I wasn't sure if there's any questions. What do we got, Melissa?
We have a couple of people have privately chatted that they are going to commit to waking up a little bit early. But I just had to share a little story with you because I wake up every early 4 days a week to work out and try to do that. So about a year ago, though, you reminded me of a story because I used to work out a little bit later in the day. So I told my husband one night, I said, I'm going to try to go to the 5 o'clock Orange Theory class tomorrow morning. So I'm going to set my alarm, for 4 o'clock and, hopefully I'll feel good. And then I'll go to, the Orange Theory class. I'll see how I feel waking up at that time. And, I'm going to try to go tomorrow at the 5 a.m. class. So I'm all proud of myself. And he's like, are you kidding me? And he looked all disgusted. And he's like, listen to yourself. I said, I know, right? Like, I'm going to try to go to the Orange Theory class in the morning. He's like, say it again. I said, I'm going to try to go work out in the morning. He's like, you've already made a built-in excuse. You said you're going to try to go. You said you're going to see how you feel when you wake up in the morning. He's like, are you committed to it or are you not committed to it? If you're committed to it, say, I'm going to Orange Theory in the morning. I'm setting my alarm and I'm getting up and there's no excuses. The way you're saying it is, well, maybe, see how I feel. He's like, come on, like, you don't do that. So it was this eye-opener to me. And so, as Christians talking about all this, it's like, yes, how committed how committed are we? I mean, look at this self-mastery. These are, are you committed to waking up a little bit earlier? Are you committed to building those routines and that consistency? Or are you going to say, yeah, I'm going to try to make that happen? No, don't be like me, because that was my attitude at the beginning. And it was such an eye-opener and what a difference that makes. So I think Christian clearly demonstrated to us with, that mindset of having that mastery and that, consistency. I don't think Christians say, well, I'll see how I feel today if I want to do it. No, not at all. So, I mean, these were, extremely important messages today. And I think it's coming at a perfect time because, this business is out there and just everything from whether your goals are, exercise, working hard, selling a lot of houses, listing a lot of houses, whatever it is, it's out there for the taking. So, and this is how to get it. That's for sure.
Well, and I think the one thing I should say too is by no means am I perfect at this. This is a constant struggle. It's easy to get distracted. It's easy to get veered off course, and discipline and consistency is not something that you get it and then you go, oh, I'm done. I never have to work on that again the rest of my life. Nope. It is a constant thing that you have to work on. It'll always be there. And when you do fall out of sync, you just got to get back in quickly. You have that one day, Father's Day, where things don't have that routine. Okay, let me get back on track, right?
Well, you have to allow yourself a little bit of time to relax and unwind, especially on Father's Day like that too. So I'm glad you took a little bit of time, but it is fabulous. And again, we love hearing from all of you. It's amazing, some of your success stories with all of your discipline and consistency. So keep all of that up. And next week we will be at it again with Motivational Monday at 1 o'clock. So we'll be excited to meet with you again next week. Christian, any last parting words here?
Just send us your emails. Melissa and I love getting your emails. So if you're being impacted every Monday by what Melissa and I are sharing, it encourages us when we get an email from you that simply says, hey, what Melissa shared, what Christian shared really struck a chord with me, and I applied it in my life and I saw some results. We benefit off that. We need motivation just like you. So feel free to send that in an email to us. We absolutely appreciate it. And we will see you all again next Monday at 1 o'clock.
Have a great week, everyone. Make things happen, and we look forward to seeing you next Monday. Thank you.
Have a great one.